Hello, my name is Fabian Ding. I'm the owner of FMD Wealth Advisors. This is my podcast, Don't Screw Up Divorce. I'm a certified financial planner, chartered financial analyst, enrolled agent with the IRS, certified divorce financial analyst, and certified quattro specialist. I help people that are going through major life transitions like divorce. I'm supporting my clients before, during, and after the divorce, and I work with clients nationwide. If you would like my help, click the link in the show description or visit fmdwealth.com to schedule a call with me. We are open for business. Before we get into this week's podcast, one disclaimer at the beginning. We are not attorneys and we do not provide legal advice. Anything that is being said should not be considered legal advice by any means. Please consult with your attorney with regard to your legal questions. So, this week's topic in the podcast is the first 12 months after divorce, how clients rebuild their wealth and why most don't. So the settlement is signed, the judge has entered the judgment, the case is closed. And then for most people, the real work begins. A divorce produces a snapshot at a single moment, what each spouse owns, what each spouse owes, what monthly cash flows will like to be in the future. That snapshot is the starting point of a new financial life, but is not the new plan. The first 12 months after divorce are when the new plan gets built. Done well, this period turns the settlement into a stable platform. Done poorly, it leaves problems that take years to unwind. Most people are exhausted at the end of a divorce and want to delay the financial reset for a while. That is understandable, of course, but the reset cannot wait long. The decisions you make in the first year about housing, insurance, investments, real estate planning, retirement, and cash flow compound over the rest of your life. The earlier they are made deliberately, the better the long-term outcome. So let's focus on the first 30 days after divorce. I call it the administrative reset. So the first 30 days after divorce is finalized are about administrative housekeeping, not strategy. The goal is to make sure the legal change is reflected in every place it needs to be. Update beneficiary designations on every account that has them. Retirement accounts, life insurance policies, transfer on death registrations, and any trust. A divorce decree does not automatically override beneficiary designations on most accounts, and an outdated beneficiary form can override the intent of the settlement. Update estate planning documents, wills, healthcare proxies, power of attorneys, and trust documents typically need to be revised. If your former spouse was named as an executor, healthcare agent, or trustee, those designations should be reviewed. Retitle assets that were transferred in the divorce. For example, real estate deeds, vehicle titles, and account registration all need to be updated. The settlement agreement is necessary but not sufficient. The actual title works has to happen. The settlement agreement is necessary but not sufficient. The actual title work has to happen. Set up new accounts where needed. Make sure tax documents, insurance bills, and other important correspondences are being sent to the right address. So let's talk about the first 90 days. So what matters here? Once the administrative reset is complete, the next 90 days are about getting the operating finances onto stable ground. Build a real monthly cash flow plan based on your post-divorce income and expenses. Use the projection work that was done during the case as a starting point, but track actual results against it month by month. Adjust as patterns emerge. Review your investment accounts in light of the settlement. The portfolio you built during the marriage was designed for a different financial life. Time horizon, risk tolerance, liquidity needs, and tax situations all change after divorce. Some assets that made sense as part of a combined portfolio may not make sense in your individual one. Pay particular attention to concentration. Many divorces leave one spouse with a heavy position in a particular asset, a former employer's company stock, the marital home, a business interest received an offset for other assets. So concentration that was reasonable during the marriage may need to be reduced post-divorce. So make sure cash reserves are adequate. The first year post-divorce is when unexpected expenses appear most often, and a comfortable cash cushion is one of the best forms of insurance against decisions made under stress. So let's think about the next step. Let's think about the long-term plan. So by the end of the first 6 months, the focus should shift from a short-term stabilization to long-term planning. Run a fresh retirement projection. The retirement plan you had during the marriage was built around 2 careers, 2 retirement accounts, and a joint timeline. Your individual retirement picture may look quite different. Identify the gap between where you are and where you need to be, and design contributions and investment policies to close it. Reconsider your insurance coverage. Life insurance needs change after divorce, particularly when one spouse is paying support. Disability insurance becomes more important when there is no second income to fall back on. Health insurance may need to be restructured if one spouse was previously covered through the other's employer. Engage a certified divorce financial analyst in a comprehensive review. The settlement is a starting point. The plan that grows from it is what determines whether you end up in a stronger financial position 5 years out than you were 5 years before. Another important component is tax planning. So the first year after divorce often involves new complexity. Filing status changes, withholding may need to be adjusted, support payments need to be coded correctly, and any asset transferred from the divorce can have a basis implication going forward. Coordinate early with a tax professional like an enrolled agent. The first year's return set the baseline for future tax planning, and mistakes made in year 1 can echo through subsequent years. Pay particular attention to the IRS rules around former spouses, dependents, and filing status, which often catch people by surprise in the year after the divorce is finalized. So beyond the first year, tax planning becomes an ongoing exercise. Traditional retirement accounts can be particularly converted to Roth accounts in low-income years, for example. Capital gains can be harvested or deferred depending on the income picture. Charitable contribution can be timed and bundled for tax efficiencies. Resist the temptation to keep doing what you did during the marriage just because it's familiar. The right tax strategy reflects current circumstances, not previous ones. Another very important topic is estate planning, and it almost always is overdue. Estate planning is the most commonly neglected part of the post-divorce financial reset. People know they should update their documents, but the urgency feels lower than other parts of the process, and the work gets pushed off. It should not be. The estate plan you had during the marriage was built around the marriage. The protections, the trustees, the guardian designations, the beneficiary structures, all of it was tailored to a household that no longer exists. At minimum, every post-divorce estate plan should include an updated will, an updated healthcare proxy, an updated durable power of attorney, and a complete review of beneficiary designations across all relevant accounts. If you have children, guardianship provisions need to be reviewed. If you have substantial assets, the case for revocable trust often becomes stronger after the divorce, not weaker. If your earlier estate plan included a revocable trust, the trust likely needs to be amended or replaced. Trustee designations, beneficiary structures, and distribution provisions are all typically built around the marital household. Let's focus on the year 2 and beyond. So the reset becomes the plan. That's the focus. So by the second year after divorce, most of the immediate work is complete. The financial life you're building has its own shape, separate from the one that came before. This is when the long-term planning work pays off. Retirement projections are now anchored in real numbers. Cash flow is stable. The investment portfolio reflects your individual goals. Estate planning matches your current situation. What remains is ongoing maintenance, annual reviews, periodic adjustments, occasional larger decisions, for example, a home purchase, a new relationship, a child's college funding, a career change. These happen as part of a normal financial plan rather than as part of a post-divorce recovery. So the client who come through divorce in the strongest positions 5 years out are almost always the ones who took the first year seriously. The settlement is the result of the case. The plan is the result of the work that came after. So the end of a divorce is sometimes described as a finishing line. In financial terms, it is closer to a starting line. The settlement gives you assets, liabilities, and a set of obligations. What you do with that combination over the next 12 months and the years that follow is what determines whether the wealth you have left becomes the foundation of a strong financial future or simply erodes over time. Take the work seriously. Bring in the right professional. Treat the post-divorce financial reset with at least as much intentionally as you brought to the case itself. The wealth you protect is the wealth that funds the rest of your life, and the plan you build now is the plan that gets you there. Let's focus on some frequently asked questions that I receive from my clients. First question: when should I start working on the post-divorce financial plan? Well, the work can start before the divorce is finalized. Many of the projections, account decisions, and planning frameworks that matter most are easier to set up in parallel with the case than to build from scratch afterwards. If you have not already engaged a certified divorce financial analyst, the weeks immediate before or after the settlement is signed are the natural time. Do not wait for the dust to settle. The dust is the work. Next question: what if I have never managed my own finances before? This is one of the most common situations in a divorce, particularly for spouses who were not the primary financial manager during the marriage. The right approach is not to learn everything overnight, but to assemble a financial team you trust and to develop a basic competence with the question that mattered most. For example, cash flow, asset allocation, taxes, and estate planning. The goal is not to become an expert, it is to be able to ask intelligent questions and to make informed decisions with professional guidance. How much should I expect to spend on professional advice in year one? It varies, but in high net worth situations, the combined cost of financial planning, taxes, and legal advice in the first year is typically a small fraction of the value at stake. Spending 1% of marital assets on professional advice that protects 10 or 15% of long-term value is a strong return. The right way to think about the cost is as an investment, not as an expense. Next question: when does life feel financially normal again? Well, for most people, around the 18th month mark. The first 12 months are about reset and rebuilding. The second 12 months are when the new structure starts feeling like the structure rather than an adjustment. If you find yourself struggling significantly past the 2-year mark, that is usually a signal that some part of the financial plan needs more attention. The goal is not to forget the divorce. It is to reach a place where it is no longer the organizing facts of your financial life. This was this week's podcast. My name is Fabian Degen. I am the owner of FMD Wealth Advisors. I'm a certified divorce financial analyst, chartered financial analyst, enrolled agent with the IRS, certified financial planner, and certified Quattro specialist. I help people that are going through major life transitions like divorce. I'm supporting my clients before, during, and after the divorce, and I work with my clients nationwide. If you would like my help, click the link in the show notes or visit fmdwealth.com to schedule a call with me. We are open for business.